And this is Clyde with Fearcast at fearcast.net. We're still at the Oklahoma Horror Film Festival. We're interviewing Craig Scott Lamb here.
And this is Ogre, and I have the privilege of being one of the performers and creative consultants for American International Pictures, which is now owned wholeheartedly by Craig.
Yes. Yeah.
The old AIP, made a lot of things.
Yeah, back from the dead. Back from the dead. Yeah.
Some kind of like a alchemy going on.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it back.
Yes, I've had it. I've had the. I bought the trade name, acquired the trade name, I should say, years ago, back in the mid '90s.
Acquired.
Yeah.
You corrected yourself from bought. I mean, was there a poker game going on or something?
It was something like that. Yeah, there was a. No, no, I didn't have a poker game with old Sam Arkoff, and we didn't do that bit, but.
No. It would have been a great story if you had.
Oh yeah, well I'll make it up, but you know, but Sam would have, and but makes a great story. But no, I acquired it. It actually, it's just like I said in an article that was done a while back. I was asked directly, how did you acquire it? Well, I acquired it very simply. The company, the trade name legally lapsed. It had fallen into disuse and legally lapsed, and I was browsing around looking for trademarks I could pick up, because I could pick up zillions of them, and there was AIP, and I'm like, wait a minute, now I check around, see who's using this, what's going on. It was back in about 1996, and so I said, okay, it's mine, it's my trade. So I picked up AIP, started putting out some products on AIP back then, and we did a little cheap movie back then, and slapped the AIP on it and a few other banners on it, and got things rolling that way. And then from there on, it's just kind of I focused on some other things for a while, including some that I did back then, and then I was building up monogram pictures for a while. I thought, well, that's going to do real well. I worked on that, and monogram didn't work out for me. Now we're going to leave that behind, and I'm focusing all of my efforts on AIP now. You know, that's my love of my life outside of my wife and my children. The AIP is it.
And you've been slowly collecting up, if I remember right, just the various and sundry AIP picture originals, just getting rights as you can.
Character rights and to other properties that were held by AIP over time and everything like that. But most of the AIP film library is held by MGM today,
right? And
some by the Arkoff and Nicholson families, and then I believe there's some others here and there. But yeah, other than that, we're trying to build a new legacy. We got to do some films like The Beast That Wouldn't Die, werewolf picture. Then we've got a picture called Dead Girls Don't Cry, brutal picture, which I can't direct that kind of picture myself. So we put Travis Miller on that project, and he went out and did some writing on the story. I handed him a one-page synopsis of the plot, and then Travis took off with that and wrote a little more on it, and then he sent it to another fellow, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right offhand. And the script is already getting some really great reviews itself, so if the script gets good reviews, I hope the film does just as well.
You'd hope the movie would at least get that.
With what I've seen from what Travis has done in this same vein, the same subgenre, I don't know what to call it exactly, it looks like it's going to be very good, I think. It's not necessarily, now, everybody thinks of AIP as something from the past, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and everything like that, but really we want to go be progressive, because old Sam Arkoff, my hero, he always wanted to be cutting edge. He was always modern. He always wanted to make sure that AIP was always on the cutting edge, and that's where we got to be. We got to be there.
Okay. Now speaking of AIP, just so people know the history, AIP is probably famous for Vincent Price doing the classic Edgar Allan Poe movies with Roger Corman.
Let me bump in there on that. You knew Vincent.
A little.
We've swapped a few stories while drinking, and sadly no cameras. Do you have one good story you can share?
Oh God, I don't know that I have anything. Really, our meetings were so brief and everything like that, and it was so long ago now. I was about 25 or 86 years old.
Careful, there's people out there who can do math. I'll figure it out.
Oh God, yeah, he's been gone a long time. Yeah, but yeah, I was putting together it was a Frankenstein project, oddly enough, and I got in contact with his agent, and the agent really liked the project, and he goes, well, you know, I'm really not supposed to do this, but I'll hook you up with Vincent. So he got me hooked up with Vincent, and we talked about the project, and he was all ready to go and everything like that, and what we wanted him to do, getting so old, and he was a little frail. We were wanting him to, you know, come out on the stage and introduce the picture like Edward Van Sloan had done in the original Frankenstein. But he couldn't walk very well, so we were going to play around with that a little bit, so get him out on the stage without having him to, you know, actually walk out there. And anyway, we talked about this, and everything was a go. Of course, once we got Vincent on the project, it started going really great. Here I'm a really young guy, and I'm like going, wow, Vincent Price and all this stuff, you know. And it starts going, and then of course it wasn't too long into the project when he was gone. So, and we had some other people on it then too, you know, by that time. But oh God, I'd have to think to remember May Clark, who was in the original Frankenstein,
right.
And she was in a rest home out in Hollywood, and so I got to be kind of friends with her, and we were going to bring her back to do a cameo in the film. She was actually dying of pancreatic cancer at the time, and she was willing to do it. She had a great spirit. She was just like, well, let's go, let's do it. You know?
Not dead yet.
Oh no. But well, she didn't talk about dying, but she knew she was. But she was a sweetheart, and she was a real doll. But no, other than that, really, I don't have any real good story with Vincent as far as just, you know, being, you know, buddy talk or anything. No. We were Mr. Price. I want to do this little story. You know, I maybe want to do this movie with you and this, that, and the other. He was very respectful and very kind and a very gentlemanly type, and he wanted to talk about the art museums in this area of the country, because he was more interested in that in some ways than he was in the monster stuff. You know, that was, you know, he's done a lot of it, so he wanted to talk about art, you know, and things which I had no clue what to talk to him about on that. But I was like, well, yeah, I've been to those museums down there in Vincent, but I have no idea.
Let us go to these museums, and you'll educate me.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, go ahead, Over, sorry.
But more of some of the AIP legacy, of course, was with Vincent Price, Dr. Fives.
Dr. Fives.
American International released some of my personal favorites. The Amityville Horror was an AIP release.
Right.
The American release of Mad Max was an AIP release.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. the Thing was an AIP release.
Yeah. Several Godzilla pictures, I believe. I can't remember how many.
But there was also the fact that a lot of the Roger Corman stuff, and I believe there's several Harryhausen movies that were released with AIP.
I don't remember a Harryhausen. I don't think there was a Harryhausen that had. Yeah.
Or maybe I should say Harryhausen inspired.
In that style.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
rotoscoping things against.
Yeah, I think there may have been. I think there may have been something that may have been inspired by it. I don't think that. I don't think they necessarily would have gone for the budget that Ray Harryhausen would have wanted.
No, they would have had to get him early on.
Yeah, no, Ray was. Oh yeah, he was doing great. He was producing his own pictures, you know, with Charles Schneer. And they were producing together. I think most of their stuff was done at Columbia, and I don't think it was primarily with Columbia.
That's the one with the lady with the torch. Yeah, that was almost all of it.
Yeah.
And then of course I want to bring up a little bit of vampire comedy before it was cool, Blood at First Bite.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The classic Count Yorga.
Mm-hmm.
Also, away from the horror and science fiction, there was all the Annette Funicello beach movies.
Oh yeah.
And Frankie's.
Frankie and Annette and the Beach Party movies. And we're going to do a Beach Party movie, kind of, and a couple of them actually. There's Beach Blanket Bloodbath. Thanks Fred Olin Ray for the title.
That is some amazing alliteration there. Stan Lee would be proud of that.
Okay, and
Beach Blanket Bloodbath.
Yeah, well, actually, Fred Olin Ray, a well-known B-movie producer director, came up with that title a long time ago. And actually, and this is kind of an odd story. I came up with the same kind of title 20-something years later, and I didn't know about Ray's. And then I found out that Ray had shot part of a picture called that back in, I think, forgive me, Ray, late 70s, maybe early 80s. And it was the same title. I'm like, oh, I can't just grab Fred's title. And so I asked him permission to use it. So, but he seems to be a very nice guy. I haven't met him face to face, but we have done a little talking back and forth on Facebook, and he's a swell guy, and I want to rope him in to come and make some pictures for AIP one of these days.
Oh, please.
Yeah, because this fella knows how to make a movie. I mean, he can, I don't know what to do, but he does some great films.
You mentioned something there. I've noticed with the networking, where it might have used to have been a card, call me.
Yeah.
And everybody is like, are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I know.
Search me up, look me up on Facebook.
I do about everything on Facebook now because...
do the chat thing, you do basically an email thing, or you just slap it on the wall?
I don't do that. Sorry folks, I don't check my emails regularly. I don't answer my phone messages. I will listen to them eventually, but I don't answer them because I get crazy people calling me.
I've got some strategies to get around that for you. I'll talk to you off camera about that.
If you send him an IM though, he will talk to you, even if it's like, I can't talk right now, he will answer you.
Yeah, I'll get there, and just sometimes I'm just all over the place, but I wish I was busier, I'll tell you, because these Hollywood types, sorry Hollywood types.
Hey, this is more of an indie theme thing. So
Yes.
Cool, Hollywood.
I love Hollywood, I love LA, I love all the people there that I've ever met, even in the bad parts of town. No one ever gave me any trouble in the bad parts of town in LA. I guess, then again, look at me. But now the next time I go to LA, there'll be some guy going, hey, I'm going to get that sucker.
Well, just because from the stories me and you have talked about earlier, there's real world time, and then there's snail time in LA.
Yeah, it seems like a development process for a film. It seems to take forever, and I grew up on things happening fast. You know, I grew up listening to guys like Roger Corman talking about shooting pictures like Bucket of Blood for AIP in 2 days and a night.
Yeah.
I go, now that's the kind of thing we want to do here. Now I'm not saying 2 days and a night. Okay.
It's a bit much.
But I personally have shot pictures in 4 days, and you know, and there's some of these guys that say, okay, let's make a better picture. Well, let's do something like House of Usher, and I believe they had like a 14-day shooting schedule on House of Usher. Now, you try to get a modern Hollywood crew in there to get any kind of picture like that done in 14 days, they're going to think you're out of your ever-loving mind. I think they made the picture for you. They're going to probably correct me on this. But but anyway, the picture was made for a little over $100,000. You know, loud nowadays. You know, it'll take that much money just to pay somebody to to do all the paperwork to get the thing started. You know, I don't know. I don't understand.
I really think.